What's up guys, Mscareable1 here, once again, welcome you guys back to The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Last time we snuck into the thieves' hideout and did a bunch of stuff there. This time we go back to exploring around Hyrule and Lorule. And before I get too far into this, this video is post-commentated. For a variety of reasons. The main one being, I didn't like how the commentary turned out. It's like, as I go on to explain, I'm in a new place, so commentary is going to be a bit more different. So I'm not going to be as expressive as I normally am. But for the love of God, how monotone I was through that whole thing. It's like, I know how to be expressive. But to actively be monotone has to be some kind of fucking skill. So this is like being recorded after I've done like all the generic editing and whatnot, all the visual designs and whatnot. And yeah, I don't really have like too much to talk about, which is why I'm worried. So if the second video that I record, like I always record these in like bunches of 2 at least. There was once I did it in a bunch of 3. So that's just kind of how I record these things. Just so I'm a little bit of ahead on content, but not too far ahead. I've also noticed I get into like a bit of a pattern where I'm like, do a dungeon, explore, do a dungeon, explore. Which I guess I kind of break this episode because I'm able to do 2 dungeons. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I know in this episode I explain that I might have to do a episode called finishing things up, like finding the rest of the Mai-Mais, finding the rest of the heart containers, because I don't remember everything about this game. Like, I think it's here in the actual recording I talk about not remembering there was a Mai-Mai on the side of that tent. I actually thought it was under the rock. Which, actually, we get a lot of Mai-Mais in this episode. We end in the high 40s, I believe. So, we do get a lot. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But, there's more than likely going to be an episode like that. At the very least, I know there's 1 heart piece that's going to be a bitch to get. Like, well, there's 2 that's going to be a bitch to get. And if you've played this game before, you know which ones I'm talking about. But yeah, I've completely forgot that I didn't go here in the after unlocking the abilities to get Mai-Mais. Why? I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting how much I remember about this game, considering I haven't played it in such a long time. It's very interesting. I guess one reason I should explain, like, why I was so monotone. Like, as I mentioned before, I was in a new space, and the walls are quite thin, so I'm very worried. Oh wait, Hilda's gonna talk. Welcome back to the Lorule Kingdom, Mac. You are in the area where the skull would strike fear into the hearts of the living. Not that there are many who live here for long. Within the woods are beings no longer of this world. I tripped up on that in the original recording too, which is why it's still on screen. But brave them you must, if you are to recover a sage who is pure of heart. Gather your courage. So say I, Hilda of Lorule. So like the walls are like really thin. And I was worried about annoying people, basically. And buying soundproofing is not exactly an option for me. But I guess I could talk about the editing process for this series. Like, one thing that I could do like before recording the episode is like make all possible templates, but for me that just seems counterproductive. And as you saw there was a dissolve there to get the heart piece, because that took me a few more tries than I really should admit. Took like 3, but still. It's like cross dissolves are very common when I'm recording, like when I'm editing. I use it to cover up like direct cuts so it's not as jarring. It's like, I know probably like a lot of what I'm saying right now is going over people's heads, but if you understand even the slightest bit of editing, it makes sense. So like that's how I make like the transitions to numbers. Like look at the my counter now. I always do that on the first frame the whatchamacallit, the box appears in, just as a general starting point. The transition from high roll to low roll, I'm still working that one out because I don't have that one necessarily figured out. Same with like the sages. It's like for everything else I can generally follow the rule of thumb of, oh, it's going to be on the first frame of the text box. That I can follow a general rule of thumb with. I always like that because the one I'm attacking now just ran after a blue rupee. It was charging at me, but it looked like it was after the blue rupee, which I found funny. So that's kind of my editing style, but the template itself, I actually make what I need. It's like there's very rarely a time where I have a template I don't need. This is also, I think, the closest I've come to dying in a while. Have I died in this series? I don't think I have. Like, I know I haven't been defeated in battle, but have I had a point where I needed to use a fairy? I don't know. I don't think I have. But yeah, so like, say if I need to switch high roll from switch the template from low roll to high roll, I would just check a box basically, and bam, it's like this is the first time I've made a Photoshop document that was for like this specific purpose, where I was changing it a lot. Like most of the, like if you saw the escapist race with 13 Man, all those items that appeared in my editing software like Premiere Pro, which is what I'm watching this on now. And those are I need to voice this. So you finally sent a rescue party, eh? Wait, you're no party. I should go back for that, but let me guess. You come here looking for some. Oh, God damn it. Okay, basically, this guy has an item that you really want. I cannot afford it right now, and yeah, I'm gonna learn that the hard way. But it is a really important item that, if you're going for 100%, you want to get. If you're not, it's not that important. And for it, it's like, it's nice, but it's not super important. You can get by just fine without it. But, so I will be going back for this item. I just generally forgot how much it was. But given the item that it is, it's quite the steal. And if you can put 2 and 2 together, you probably figured out what it is. But yeah, most of my editing is just simple changes in like values, like from the whatever value I need for the Mai's or the hard pieces or the paintings, which actually I picked Zelda's painting. Like, some people might be confused on why I picked Zelda's in particular. I picked Zelda's because it wasn't the first one we saw. The first one we saw was Ceres, I think her name was. But I picked her because she'll be the last one we get. And that's really why I picked her. That's like the general reason why I picked her. I don't really have any other reason in particular. Although I think it's this episode was the first time I've had to reuse layout, basically. Like, I call the background art with the low rule and high rule layouts, even though they're like templates would be the proper term. That's just generally what I call them. And we won't be doing Skull Woods just yet. There's not really any reason for it. I just saw the timer was at like 10 minutes, and I knew we would not make full dungeons worth of progress in 10 minutes. So I was like, we'll save it for another episode. I think I said in the original recording we'd do it next episode, but we end up going to a different dungeon. We end up going to Turtle Rock for people who are unaware. So next week, Turtle Rock. Also, speaking of which, I'm sorry this episode has taken like so long to get out. It's like in the editing process, I do listen to myself, so when I'm like super monotone, it's not very appealing to me to edit. Hence why I chose to do the post commentary. But I'm saying a lot. But that's not the only reason. I've actually edited this video like twice before. But my residence that I'm in for school have had power outs for a little bit. It's like they're nothing major, they only last for like a second or two. But I'm a person who doesn't save till the project is done, which is bad. And there is something in my pocket. Like, it's paper, and it looks like it went through the wash. Oh god, what was this? Is it just literally just paper? Can you read paper after it's gone through the wash? I'm probably like ASMRing some people right now. Like, is this like tissue? I am very confused on what this is. Okay, it's definitely bigger than a regular piece of paper. Is this a dryer sheet? No, this isn't. This is too big to be a dryer sheet. What is this? Whatever. It's going in the trash. I have no idea what I just pulled out of my own pocket. Alright. Where was I? Oh, right, editing. So I had to like re-edit a few things. Which wasn't, so I didn't lose all the progress. I'd made like any templates I made, I obviously kept, which made the editing process a lot easier, where I just needed to skim through the footage to find the certain points where I needed to edit them in. Oh, and here I'm just kind of demonstrating that not every place in Hyrule has an equivalent hole. That makes it sound bad, but it's kind of the correct terminology. Doesn't have an equivalent place in Lorule. So like some caves in Hyrule will be the same in won't be the same in Lorule. I don't know. I don't know why I did that. It's not very smart. I think I'm heading over to Mother Mayamai now. To upgrade the ice rod, because that's the only other thing we own currently. That is me checking to see if we own anything else. Do we end in high 40s? Or do we end? No, we definitely end in 40s. So we don't get too many more Mayamais. We get a few more heart pieces though before the end of this recording session. It's like, I do wonder what the hell Mother Mayamai is. It's like, what are the Mayamais in general? It's like they aren't in any other Zelda game to my knowledge. So it's a little bit weird. But at least we're returning everything to Mother Mayamai. I actually really like how the like different rods look. Like, we'll be getting more into the details of specifically the rods later for a reason. and I'm not looking forward to. Those who have played the game, you know, to 100% completion, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I will also say that minigame. Oh wait. Welcome back to Lorule Kingdom, Mac. Not far from here is a maze built to contain the power of fire. You must find a way to control the flames. Ice Rod. I also sense a strong presence in this vicinity. No doubt it's a sage. Go now. Only you can help. So say I, Hilda of Lorule. I really don't understand. And, what was I talking about? Oh, right. I remember what I was talking about. For those who have played the game to 100% completion, that one heart piece that I am implying so hard on is the reason why I've only fully completed this game once. Needless to say, I'm gonna have a lot of pissed off things to say, and like there's always like some stupid thing in every series that I do, whether it's in like Super Mario Odyssey, there's the getting switch at the boss I for some reason end up sucking at, or in Pokemon XD, oh yeah, and these are just some turtles that we need to save to gain access to the dungeon. Catching a full health shadow Pokemon, which has a decently low catch rate. It's like it wasn't the lowest in the game, but it was with a Pokeball, and so like there's always like one moment that sticks out in my mind. Jack and Daxter was forgetting about the Muse and having him in the back for the whole adventure. Also, that turtle, how did he get stuck to the wall? That is the one thing I do not understand about this game, is how a turtle got stuck to the wall. It's like, what, did he jump for it? It's like, I will suspend my disbelief for a lot of things, but that, for some reason, is not one of them. I do not know why. But yeah, basically we just need to find the 3 babies, and I did not know you cannot just swim up that. Like it looks like something you can swim up. It's like, what makes that platform different from like the one I'm on? Like, seriously. Now all the turtles are reunited, and some of them got bigger. Like, one got bigger and I think one got smaller. You found all my babies. Now we can ride around this dungeon and for you to climb up on. Yeah, we're close to the end of the episode. We've got just about 2 minutes left. Like, I always try to make these videos like 20 minutes. And knowing my editing, it might be like a bit under, a bit over. Like, you never really know until it's happening. Like, I don't care if a video is over 20 minutes, but I know people's retention time. It's like, that's one thing I don't like. I would prefer to make like half an hour long videos if I really could, but I know people won't watch them. So I compromise with 20 minutes. Now, the only reason I compromise to that is because I still want to feel like there's a sense of progress. Hence why I don't really do RPGs too much. I say don't do RPGs too much. Well, actually, what does The Legend of Zelda count as? I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, guys, I thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. And if you think someone else will enjoy this video, make sure to share this on all your social medias. Have a nice day, everyone. And if you could tell me what genre the Legend of Zelda series is, I would greatly like to know. Like, I think it's an action-adventure game series, but it could be considered an RPG. I do not know. I am just trying to fill out the time. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later.